Hello, John Bloodworth, Gentleman Crafter here with your assembly guide for the 3D book gift box. Okay, so this is the gift box itself. I've included a magnetic closure, but you can change this if you would prefer. And basically all of the cut files are included, as well as the drawn detail here that you can see I've used to foil the design onto the cover of the book. So let's take a look through some of the parts. So we've got the two inserts here, and I've applied tape, double-sided tape around the edges, and that's on both parts, one that has holes and one that doesn't. We've then got the inside cover, which has just got tape down the spine, and then we've got the outside cover that has tape elsewhere on the main cover parts, not on the spine. That's important. And then also tape down where the holes will appear. I'll explain why in a minute. Now for the pages that make up the box, we've got these two parts, and I've already gone ahead and stuck my magnets, or one half of the magnets, onto the back side of that piece. I've used pin flare glue gel to stick those down, but you could use double-sided tape or some other glue if you would prefer. Now I am going to apply a piece of double-sided tape to the right side of this piece as well, and that's just on the tab that sits on the long edge of the window. Now along all of the dashed score lines, I'm just going to pre-fold that so it's easier to manipulate and manage. Just regarding those magnets, I have left details in the README document that was included with your download of the magnets that I'm using. I'm not very good at pronouncing it, but basically they're 0.5 millimeter thick, quite strong magnets. They've got a 0.2 kilogram pull. They're not going to possibly prevent anything heavy falling out, but they are going to keep the box closed while it's in transit. Now with the box part of the pages, I'm basically doing a zigzag fold for the tab and the fold line on the inside edge, as you saw me doing there. And I've put double-sided tape on all of the tabs. I'm now just releasing part of the carrier here, and I'm going to bring that in, fold back the tab, and stick that to the inside edge of the top part or the outer part of the pages. So if you can see the magnets, that's good. If you can't, that's not good, because those magnets need to be concealed. I'm taking the tape off, the carrier off the tape on the opposite side, and you can see it's actually got notches there to match the magnets. So hopefully that will help to line that up. But just make sure that you're getting it to the edge of that aperture. The short tabs on the sides are actually going to fold around the outside of that box element. They won't stick on the inside. So I'm releasing all of the tape from those, and then from the long tab, just a part of that tape. This basically gives me a little bit of wiggle room, and then when I've got things in place, I can peel away the rest of the carrier. Make sure everything's stuck before you move on. I have actually done this with all glue, with the bookbinding glue that I usually use, and that is good. You'll just have a little bit of extra time because you'll be waiting a few seconds for each of those things to dry as you're sticking them in place. If you would prefer to do that, please feel free. So once the opposite end is in, that's the box formed. Now we basically need to fold the rest of it around to enclose it. So as you see here, I'm switching to glue for this particular tab just because I found it easier when I was doing my trial runs. Hold that in place for around 10 seconds till it grabs if you're using a bookbinding or low moisture quick grab glue. You might have to hold it for longer if you're using something else. Once you've done both of those, you're going to apply glue or tape to one of the long edges. Make sure that the tab is tucked inside, and then push it down and press and hold in place until it's caught. The bottom of the box actually sits against the back of that box, so you shouldn't necessarily get this out of line because you can only push it down so far. Just take your time and be careful and make sure everything lines up. And then for this last one, again we're going to release part of the carrier tape on that long edge, and I'm using glue on these two shorter edges, again because it gives me wiggle room, and also a little bit of glue along that long edge as well, again just for that wiggle time, and that's because we've got to line up 3 edges and 2 corners. Release the rest of the tape and then make sure it's all stuck. There we go, and that's our pages or glue or box formed. Now for the inside cover, and it's named this, you'll release some of the carrier tape from one of the panels with the holes in, and then you're going to position it over its matching part on the inner cover. And definitely take your time for this because these edges will be seen on the outside of the box. And make sure those holes line up. Then release the rest of the carrier tape for the double-sided and stick it down. You're then going to repeat that for the second piece on that side and the other 2 pieces on the other side, and that will give you a nice sturdy inner cover. Now we're applying double-sided tape to 3 edges of the box part, again releasing some of the carrier tape. And this is going to sit against the edge of the fold on the inner cover. Make sure that the magnets face outwards from the spine, so they're on the outer edge, and also make sure you're working on the side of the cover that has no holes. I'm also applying glue to the entire back surface so that it sticks in place. This just gives it extra stability. And then push that down into place. Release the remainder of the carrier tape and then stick it down. And then basically we're going to stick the spine into place by releasing the carrier tape from the double-sided tape there and pushing that into place. Now for the outer cover, again, we're using that trick of just releasing some of the tape, but on 3 of the sides. The inside portion, you'll release all of it because you won't be able to get in there to release it. Again, glue all over the rest of it. And that's just to really sort of secure it in place. And we're working on the back here. So I've turned the box over. Push that in place. Release the rest of the double-sided tape and give it a good old press. Now for the front part of this, again, take off the inside. Release half of the sides and the outside edge, and all of that tape that's going to cover those holes. Again, apply some glue, and this is going to be a bit of a wiggle. You're going to really need to be careful here because basically the spine here is going to curve over. It's not the same thickness as the inner cover, so you'll need to keep this part away from the book box until you have that outside edge in place. And then press towards the spine, and as you hopefully saw there, you could see the spine itself curving outwards. Okay, that's most of what we needed to get done. Now for the other parts of the magnets. Now, To make sure that they're aligned properly with the polarity, throw them into position on the box so that they snap onto the coordinating magnets, and then you know which side will need to be stuck into place in the corresponding holes. If you struggle, sliding them away helps. And there we go, just make sure they're firmly stuck. If you want to add some extra glue in there, feel free. But that is your box done. And as I say, it's not like a clamping magnet, it's just going to hold that cover flat and closed. And there we go, I hope you enjoy making these.